Good morning. My name is Reverend Patryse Brown, Master of Arts, Master of Divinity, Candidate Doctor of Ministry. I am the founder of Grace Abounds, Association of Pastors. God is sovereign. This morning I'm going to speak about God's sovereignty demonstrated in the narrative of Jezebel. Jezebel conspired to steal a man's property. She falsely accused him of blasphemy against God. She had him put to death, and then she took possession of his property. Jezebel probably thought that she was so brilliant. But then God responded this way. God had a prophet go and send a message to King Ahab, who was Jezebel's husband. When Jezebel conspired and killed an innocent man in order to steal his property, she then gave the property to her husband, King Ahab, who gladly received this gift. The prophet said this to Ahab, King Ahab, "Behold, I will bring calamity on you. I will take away your posterity and will cut off from Ahab every male in Israel, both bond and free. I will make your house like the house of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, and like the house of Baasha, the son of Ahijah, because of the provocation with which you have provoked me to anger and made Israel sin. The dogs shall eat Jezebel by the wall of Jezreel. The dogs shall eat whoever belongs to Ahab and dies in the city. And the birds of the air shall eat whoever dies in the field." Now, when God told Ahab that he would make Ahab like Jeroboam, what God did to Jeroboam was destroy all of his family line. There were no men, there were no descendants left living of Jeroboam. His entire lineage was cut off. The same for Baasha. His entire lineage was cut off. So that's what God means when he says, "I will make your house like Jeroboam and like Baasha." God was telling Ahab that he was going to utterly destroy his entire lineage, their lineage, that Ahab's lineage would exist no more. Jezebel thought she was empowered when she devised this corrupt scheme to have a man murdered just so she could take what belonged to him. She probably thought she was a genius. She probably thought she was so in charge. But who was in charge? Who was in charge when God proclaimed utter destruction of their lineage? Jezebel had one individual killed. God proclaimed that he would destroy their entire lineage from off the face of the earth. Who was empowered? To whom did power belong? Jezebel thought she was empowered when she had men go and kill another man so she could take what belonged to that man. She probably thought she probably felt so powerful. But now who was empowered when God proclaimed the destruction of their lineage? That was the proclamation. And then the day came. The day came when Ahab was killed. And after Ahab was killed, God had all of Ahab's sons killed. There were a number of sons Ahab had, 30 sons perhaps more. God had them all killed, all of his descendants cut off, as God promised he would do. And then he came to Jezebel. And this is what transpired when God sent Jehu. Jehu was a commander of an army, and he was now becoming king. over Israel. He sent Jehu to carry out what he proclaimed over Ahab and Jehu and Jezebel. Ahab was killed, and now Jehu was carrying out the remainder of God's proclamation against Jezebel. Ahab reaches the house of Jezebel. And I'm reading from verse 30, 1 Kings. 1 Kings chapter 9, starting at verse 30. Now when Jehu had come to Jezreel, Jezebel heard of it, and she put paint on her eyes and adorned her head and looked through a window. Then as Jehu entered at the gate, she said, "Is it peace, Zimri, murderer of your master?" She had a man killed, and now she's calling someone else a murderer. I just wanted to interject that. It's interesting how the wicked are always accusing someone else. And Jehu looked up at the window and said, "Who is on my side? Who?" So 2 or 3 eunuchs looked out at him. Then he said, "Throw her down." So they threw her down, and some of her blood splattered on the wall and on the horses. And he trampled her underfoot. And when he had gone in, he ate and drank. Then he said, "Go now, see to this accursed woman and bury her, for she is a king's daughter." So they went to bury her, but they found no more of her than the skull and the feet and the palms of her hand. Therefore they came back and told him, and he said, "This is the word of the Lord, which he spoke by his servant Elijah the Tishbite, saying, on the plot of ground at Jezreel, dogs shall eat the flesh of Jezebel, and the corpse of Jezebel shall be as refuse on the surface of the field, in the plot at Jezreel, so that they shall not say, here lies Jezebel." Ahab had 70 sons, and God had them all killed. Jezebel briefly thought that she was in power, but God demonstrated that power belongs to God. God is sovereign. My name is Reverend Patryse Brown. I'm the founder of Grace Abounds Association of Pastors.